Laudetur Jesus Christus, praise be Jesus Christ. Welcome to this broadcast coming to you live from St. Peter's Square on this, the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Pope Francis will shortly greet us from the window of the Apostolic Palace before leading us into praying the traditional Angelus at midday prayer. My name is Father Paul Samasumo. I welcome all of you joining us on this broadcast. That includes those of you joining us through our various Vatican media channels or Vatican Audio Live Events app, the Radio Vaticana app. Some of you are following us on the Vatican News web portal or website, Vatican News English YouTube channel, our Vatican Facebook live feed. To you, our television partners and various radio stations, some of whom are our radio partners, big welcome. And of course, we have others on various websites throughout the world. Welcome all of you. We also have our dedicated American Sign Language broadcast made possible with the help of our colleagues at Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas. The big event in the Vatican this week is Pope Francis's trip to Portugal. The Pope travels to Lisbon on Thursday, 3rd August. About 400,000 young people from all over the world are expected to greet him. They are gathered in Lisbon, or they will be gathered in Lisbon for the World Youth Day. That runs from the 1st of August until the 6th of August. And while in Portugal, Pope Francis will also take time to visit the famous Marian Shrine of Fatima. It will be his second visit to Fatima. In 2017, Pope Francis visited the shrine to mark the 100th anniversary of the Fatima apparitions. And interestingly enough, just yesterday, Saturday, the Holy See Press Office confirmed Pope Francis's other trip coming up towards the end of September to Marseille in France. Before the Marseille visit, of course, there is also Pope Francis' scheduled visit to Mongolia from the 31st of August to the 4th of September. It will be indeed a historic visit. He will be the first Pope to visit the Asian nation, which incidentally is home to only 1,400 Catholics. This cements his view as a Pope of the periphery who will go to wherever is needed, regardless of the numbers. And with the trip of Pope Francis confirmed yesterday to France, we see that there is no slowing down Pope Francis. And looking at the schedule released yesterday by the Holy Press Office, Pope Francis will visit the French port of Marseille. He will be there for the Mediterranean meetings. And right now, for those of you following us on your TV screens, you can see Pope Francis coming to the window to start the Angelus prayer. Rather festive spirit in the square today.
Cari fratelli e sorelle,
Dear brothers and sisters, buongiorno. Today, the Gospel tells the parable of a merchant in search of precious pearls, who Jesus says, upon finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Let us pause for a while on the actions of this merchant, who first seeks, then finds, and finally buys the precious pearl. First action, to seek. He is an enterprising merchant who does not stand still, but leaves his house and sets out in search of precious pearls. He does not say, I am satisfied with the ones I have. He looks for more beautiful ones, and this is an invitation for us not to close ourselves up in habit, in the mediocrity of those who are complacent, but to revive desire. To revive desire. Because the desire to seek does not go off. To cultivate dreams of good. To seek the newness of the Lord. Because the Lord is not repetitive. He always brings newness. He always makes the realities of life new. we always need
cercare.
we need to be searching as well. The merchant's second action is to find.
Egli è una persona
He
colta,
is a shrewd
che ha
person
occhio e sa
who has a
riconoscere
keen
una
eye
perla di
and
grande
knows how
valore.
to recognize a pearl of great value.
Non è facile.
This is not easy.
Pensiamo ad esempio
Let us think, for
agli
example, of the fascinating
bazar
Oriental bazaars,
dove i banchi
where the stalls
colmi di merci
full of goods
sono
are
assiepati
crowded along the
lungo le
walls of
pareti
streets
di
full of
strade
people.
piene di gente. Oppure
All
ad
of some of
alcune
these stores
bancarelle
one
che si
sees
vedono in
in
tante
many
città,
cities
piene di
full of
libri, di
books
oggetti vari.
and various objects.
A volte
Sometimes
questi
in these
mercati,
markets,
se ci ferma
if
a
one
guardare
stops to
bene,
look
si
closely,
possono scoprire dei
one can
tesori,
discover
cose
treasures,
preziose,
precious things,
volumi
rare
rari che
volumes
mescolati
that
a tutto il
mixed
resto
in with
a prima
everything
vista
else
non si
one does
notano,
not notice at
ma il
first
mercante della
glance.
parabola ha un occhio
The
attento e
merchant
sa trovare,
in the parable
sa
has a sharp eye and knows how to find, to discern the pearl.
Anche questo è un
This too
insegnamento per
is a
noi.
teaching for us.
Ogni giorno,
Every
in
day,
casa,
at
in
home,
strada,
on the
al
street,
lavoro,
at
in
work,
vacanza,
on holiday,
abbiamo la
we have the
possibilità
possibility of
di
discerning
scorgere del
good.
bene. Ed è importante
It is
saper
important
trovare
to
ciò che
know how to
conta,
find what
allenarsi a
counts, to
riconoscere
train
le
ourselves,
gemme
to
preziose
recognize the
della vita,
precious gems of
singole
life,
dalle
and to distinguish them from
fiamme
junk.
serie. Non sprechiamo
Let us not
il
waste
tempo
time and
tanto
freedom
per
on trivial
passatempi,
things,
passatempi
pastimes
che ci
that
lasciano
leave
vuoti
us
dietro.
empty inside,
La vita
while
deve
life
avere
offers
ogni
us
giorno
every day
la perla
the precious
preziosa
pearl of the
dell'incontro con
encounter
Dio,
with
con
God and with others.
È necessario
It is important
riconoscerla,
to know that,
discernere
to
per
discern
trovarla.
in order to find.
E ultimo gesto del
The last
mercante,
action, the merchant buys the pearl.
compra la perla. Resosi conto
Realizing
dell'immenso
its immense value,
vende
he
tutto,
sells
sacrifica
everything.
ogni
He
bene
sacrifices
pur di
all his
averla.
goods just to have it.
Cambia
He
radicalmente
radically
l'inventario
changes
del suo
his
magazzino.
inventory in his
Non
warehouse.
niente
There is
se
no
non
longer
quella
anything
perla,
other than the
è la sua
pearl.
unica
It is the
ricchezza,
only
il
wealth,
senso
the
del
meaning
suo
of this
presente
of
e
his
del suo
present
futuro.
and his future.
Anche questo è un invito per
This
noi.
too is an invitation for
Ma che
us.
cos'è
But
questa
what is this
perla
pearl
per la
for
quale
which
tu vuoi
one can
rinunciare a
renounce
tutto?
everything?
Quella di cui
The
parla il
one that the
Signore?
Lord speaks to
Questa
us.
perla è Lui
It
stesso,
is Himself,
è il
Jesus.
Signore. Cercare il Signore, trovare il
To
Signore,
find the Lord, to
incontrare il
seek the
Signore,
Lord, to encounter the Lord,
vivere con il Signore.
and to live with the Lord.
La perla è Gesù.
The pearl
Lui è
is
la perla
Jesus
preziosa
Himself.
della vita
He
da
is the
cercare,
precious
trovare,
pearl of life,
far
to
propria.
be sought,
Vale la pena investire tutto su di Lui.
found, and made one's own. It is worth investing in Him because when one encounters Christ, life
Tu
changes.
incontri Cristo e ti
When you
cambia la
find
vita.
Jesus, when you encounter Jesus, everything changes.
Allora i tre
Let us
gesti del
then
mercante:
summarize the
cercare,
merchant's
trovare,
three
comprare.
actions: seeking, finding, and
Facciamoci
buying.
qualche domanda.
We ask ourselves some questions.
Cercare. Io nella mia
Seeking,
vita
am
sono
I
in
searching
ricerca?
in life?
Mi sento a posto,
Do I feel
arrivato,
fine,
o mi accontento?
accomplished, and I'm satisfied, or do I exercise my desire for good?
Sono in pensione spirituale.
I'm in
Quanti
spiritual
giovani ancora sono in
pension.
pensione?
How sad that some young people are already in a
Secondo
spiritual
gesto,
pension.
trovare.
Or
Mi esercito
the
a
second action,
discernere
finding,
ciò che è
do
buono
I
viene da
practice
Dio, sapendo
discerning
rinunciare
what
a
is
ciò che
good
invece
and
mi
comes from
lascia poco e
God,
nulla?
knowing how to renounce what leaves me with little or nothing?
So spendere
And finally,
per
buying. Do I know how to
Lui
spend
per me
myself for
è al
Jesus?
primo posto.
Is
È
He
il bene
in
più
first
grande della
place
vita.
for me? Is He
Sarebbe bello dire oggi: Gesù,
the greatest good in my
sei
life?
il bene
It
più
would be
grande.
good to say to Him, to Jesus today, Jesus, you are my
Io nel
greatest
cuore lo
good.
dica ora.
Let us all say that today,
Tu sei il
now.
mio bene più
Jesus, you are my greatest
Maria ci
good.
aiuti a cercare e trovare e
And may
abbracciare
Mary help
Gesù
us to seek,
con tutti
find,
noi
and
stessi.
embrace Jesus
Angelus
with
Domini,
all of
Salve
ourselves. The angel of the Lord declared unto
Maria,
Mary,
grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Santa Dei Genitrix.
Digni ficiamur provisionibus Christi.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Gratiam Tuam, quae sumus Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, che angelo annunziante, che sti fili Tui incarnazione coniovium, per passionem eius et crucem, a resurrectionis gloriam perducamur. Per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defuntis, requiem aeternam dona eis Domine.
Et lux perpetua luceat eis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Sin nomen Domini benedictum.
Et hoc nunc et usque in saeculum.
Aiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui feci caelum et terram.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
All right, there we are, the Angelus in Latin, and then Pope Francis giving us his apostolic blessing.
Fratelli e sorelle,
Dear brothers and sisters,
oggi
today
si celebrano due
we
giornate
celebrate
mondiali indette della ONU.
the International Day of Friendship.
La giornata dell'amicizia
It is
e la
a day
giornata
of friendship,
contro la tratta di esseri
and
umani.
also we celebrate the International World Day Against Trafficking in Persons.
La seconda combatte il crimine che fa
The
delle
first
persone una merce.
encourages culture, and the second is against people who use others as
Riguarda
merchandise.
bambini,
Children, young women,
lavoratori,
workers who are trafficked,
tante persone sfruttate.
many people who are exploited.
Tutti vivono
All of them
condizioni disumane
live in
che soffrono
dishuman conditions
l'indifferenza
and under the indifference,
e lo scarto
almost
da
like
parte
they
della
are
società.
thrown aside by
Tanta
society.
tratta nel mondo.
There is actually a lot of human trafficking in the world.
Dio benedica
May
quanti si
God
impegnano
bless those
per lottare
who
contro la
are
tratta.
working to bring about an
Non
end
cessiamo di pregare
to
per la
human
martoriata
trafficking in
Ucraina,
persons. We do
dove
not
la
forget
guerra
to pray
distrugge
for the
tutto,
martyred
anche il
people
grano.
of Ukraine,
E questo è una
and
grave
also
offesa a Dio, perché il
the
grano
Pope
è dono suo
making
per
an
sfamare
appeal.
l'umanità.
Russia has withdrawn from an agreement it signed with Ukraine for the safe passage of grain,
Sale fino al cielo.
and he says grain is important, and is
Ai
appealing
miei fratelli,
to my brothers,
l'autorità
the authorities
della Federazione Russa,
in
affinché
the Russian
sia
Federation,
ripristinata
that
l'iniziativa del
this
Mar Nero,
deal, the
il
Black
grano
Sea grain
possa
deal,
essere trasportato
and this
in
passage and
sicurezza.
transport will be allowed to move freely
Il prossimo
in
4
security.
agosto si conteranno 3 anni dalla devastazione, l'esplosione nel
On the
porto
4th
di
of
Beirut.
August, in Lebanon,
Rinnovo la
will
mia
be
preghiera
the
per le
anniversary, the
vittime e
fourth
le loro
anniversary
famiglie,
of the
che sono alla
blast that
ricerca di
happened
verità
there.
e giustizia.
And
E
Holy
auspico
Father,
che la complessa crisi del Libano possa trovare
praying
una
that
soluzione degna della storia
the
dei valori
already
del
precarious
popolo.
political and financial situation will find some
Che
solutions
vivono e
in
anche
Lebanon.
un messaggio. Vi chiedo di accompagnarmi
I'd
con la
like
preghiera
also
del viaggio
to
in Portogallo,
accompany me in prayer
che
on
compirò a
my
partire da mercoledì prossimo.
trip to Portugal. So as we leave on Wednesday this week
In occasione della
for the
giornata
World
mondiale della
Youth
gioventù.
Day, and some of the youth there in the square who will be going to Portugal. Many young people from different continents will encounter God and encounter others under the guidance of Our Lady. May Our Lady give all the young pilgrims to the World Youth Day and all those who've been in Lisbon the grace. And now the Holy Father, as he always does, greeting all the pilgrims who are here. And greetings also to a choir of children from Bulgaria, Mexicans,
come pure gli adolescenti di Viadene a Caonada, e saluti i ragazzi dell'Immacolata. A tutti auguro una buona domenica. Per favore, non dimenticatevi di pregare per me. Buon pranzo e arrivederci.
And the Holy Father, as he always reminding and asking for all of us to pray for him, not to forget to pray for him, not to forget praying for him. And so that's the Holy Father making various appeals, reminding us of International Day of Friendship, World Day Against Human Trafficking, and also making an appeal to Russia to rejoin and re-enter the Black Sea Grain Deal, which allows secure movement of grain in the world. That brings us to the end of the Angelus for today, the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. As always, we invite you to visit the Vatican News website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube accounts for coverage of today's Angelus and other Vatican and world news. My name is Father Paul Samasumo. On behalf of Vatican Media, I would like to thank our in-studio audio technician, audio coordinator, and all our various media partners, TV, radio partners, and not forgetting our colleagues at Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas. Thank you, everyone. A blessed Sunday to you all. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praise be Jesus Christ.